this stage.
Call Darian Fenton.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair, and it's a great pleasure to speak in support of the Holidays for Recognition of Waitangi Day and Anzac Day Amendment Bill 2012. I want to congratulate my colleague Dr David Clark, who's made an excellent beginning to his time as an MP, and I think it augurs very well that this was drawn out of the ballot on his first full sitting day. I also want to acknowledge Mark Robertson, who actually drafted the bill when this issue became predominant in the media last year, when people realised that they weren't going to get 11 statutory holidays last year, and also that actually in Australia they do. And it is very nice also to be debating this bill that will actually provide some benefits to working people. Well, we could catch Australia, actually. That's one way of catching Australia. Yes, missing out on everything else, but we could do it. But that's a very good reason to vote for this bill. But it's also really a very good reason to vote for this bill is to provide rest and recreation for workers, families and supporting communities, and actually businesses, we've heard in the arguments from Dr Clark. It's a very simple and fair proposition, Mr Speaker. It will happen only once every 7 years, rather than being a reason to vote against it, as the National Party member who spoke said, and may I say very disappointed that the National Party are not supporting, very disappointed in that. But instead of that being a reason not to vote for it, it's a reason to do something, because after all, workers are not having such a great time under this government. It would have been a gesture, just a little tiny gesture of kindness, particularly because they're not going to be in government next time it comes around anyway. So I would have thought that they could have been generous enough to support this, to have a look at it in Select Committee, which is after all the process. It's not just because it goes through first reading doesn't mean it's finalised. It has to go to Select Committee. But I wanted to address the issue also that the member David Bennett raised about observing Waitangi and Anzac Day and the importance of doing that, and I agree with that. We all on this side of the House absolutely agree that those are two very important days, and we all have seen the rise in respect for observing Anzac Day among younger generations and older generations. Waitangi Day now has become a day when we all celebrate our nation's history and the partnership that we have with Māori. But under this bill, that won't change. Nothing will change. Those days will still be observed. Anzac Day on the 25th of April and Waitangi Day on the 6th of February. Every year, they will still be observed. The only thing that will be different is where that falls on a Saturday or Sunday, they'll still be observed on those days, Mr Speaker. But instead of missing out on a statutory holiday like people do once every 7 years, they actually get to have a day off on the Monday. So it works, as Dr Clark has pointed out, like it does with Christmas Day and some other public holidays, Boxing Day, etc., New Year. Now, some time ago, the Labor government actually brought in provisions so that where people had to work on Christmas Day, where it fell on a Saturday or Sunday, they could actually have the day off on the Monday. So it works in the same way. It actually means that people still get those holidays over Christmas and New Year, and under this bill, they will get 11 holidays every year, which is what New Zealanders are guaranteed under our Holidays Act, have the right to expect. This bill is very fair.
Oh, you still got a minute.
Oh, this bill is very fair. Sorry, Mr Speaker. I've still got a minute. Okay, still got a minute. I'm sorry about that.
When the order... Order. Just in the future, if the member sits, that's the end of the debate. You've got 40 seconds left.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr Chair. Okay. Well, as I was saying, this is an extremely fair bill. I don't understand why the National Party can't support it to Select. They can't support it to Select Committee. This would be something very positive that the Transport and Industrial Relations Committee could be looking at. For a change, instead of the dreadful things we've got ahead of us this year under this government, the plans of all of the attacks on workers that they intend to bring to our Select Committee, wouldn't it be nice to be actually be considering something positive, something good, something that's not going to cost very much at all, something that won't happen for 7 years when that party will be well out of government.
Jamie Lee Ross.
Mr Speaker, I'm happy to stand and speak in opposition to this bill. I'm happy to stand and speak in opposition.